Good morning.
Do I have your permission? Shall we take a moment to center ourselves as usual, sir? Great, thank you so much. So I'll invite you, as usual, to make yourself perfectly comfortable. See if you would pick either to turn off your video or leave it on as you please. I am turning my video off just during the centering exercise and allow yourself to gently breathe. Just slow yourself down, make yourself perfectly comfortable in your chair, and permit yourself to allow the breath to become perfectly natural, as comfortable, easy, and slow everything in life down. Slow down your breathing, slow down your thoughts. And as you breathe in, feel fresh energy of the new breath coming in. And as you breathe out, clear away with every exhalation your inner and outer space. Just slow down the breath again. And as you release anything from past or any concern for the future that is present right now. Release any agenda, any needs. Suspend any plans. Suspend any expectations or judgments of yourself or of anyone else. Breathe in again. And as you breathe out, recreate that this is a safe space for you. It is safe for you, and because of your commitment to honor others, it's also safe for others. Deepen this safety of this space. And with the next breath, invite the presence of your God in this space, of the universe, of your source of magnificence. And with every breath, deepen your connection with the presence of divinity here. With every breath, deepen your trust that you will be guided in this space exactly as you need to. Open yourself to naturally receive whatever clarity, whatever guidance, intuition, energy, inspiration, or motivation you need. Open yourself. Now, the next breath, imagine that it is coming through your heart. It is energizing your heart. Breathe love through your heart. Notice, tune into your heart. Notice the innocence of your heart, its purity. Notice and tune in to the child that you are within. Notice the child, the little child that you are within your heart. Notice the innocence, the purity of this child that you are. Notice for how long this child has waited for your acceptance, for your love, for your kindness and affection. It's time to love the child within you. Embrace the child. Give your affection finally. Accept it fully. Notice its ordinary brilliance, its magnificence. Honor this child. Give permission to this child to be itself and express itself fully. Create this space that in this space that powerfully you are creating, you as that child is perfectly safe and supported. Bring your support, affection, acceptance to this beautiful inner child. Love its ordinariness. Accept it fully. Now, today, finally, is the time to stop withholding your love from it. Honor this child within you. I'll give you a few seconds to send your love to this innocence within yourself. Notice the healing that it creates. Now, now notice what wants to happen in your life, what wants to happen that would fulfill you. What are you being called to allow and experience fully? What are you being called to express fully? What wants to happen? Take a moment to now look at the question: who are you being called to be? Who are you being called to be? Bring your full presence to the you that you want to honor, to the real, the true version of yourself. Decide and anchor yourself to honoring yourself. Bring your power and willingness to be the cause of whatever happens in your life. Just breathe gently once again. And whenever you feel ready, open your eyes and we'll begin. I want to acknowledge not just both of you, but particularly both of you. And I also want to acknowledge the others who are not present in this meeting today, particularly for your commitment to this discussion. See, there is extraordinary commitment that you have brought to yourself to be yourself, to bring happiness and completion to yourself in life by participating in these discussions and participating with power and integrity. You've taken up exercises with integrity. Till now, may have been some areas in which you feel that you have brought greater commitment and power to the way that you did those exercises. I'll invite you to create completion here and now, that the exercise got done as they were meant to be done. Do not withhold completion from yourself. Bring completion and satisfaction to yourself that right now, what got done, I am complete. And then, so that we can bring new commitment to what lies ahead. Create for yourself that exactly what got done, I am complete with it. Once again, create for yourself a resolve to have a discussion in a fashion in which it will make a huge difference to you and your life. And such a difference that you yourself appreciate, admire, love. So bring that commitment once again, resolve once again. And today we want to deepen our discussion on self-assuredness, on confidence. So that this is very valid conversation to begin with as far as that topic is concerned. So when we think about self-assuredness, and I'm using self-assuredness because I myself measure how assured I feel of myself in my own presence. How am I showing up in terms of self-assuredness or confidence? So, what is going on as far as, or what shows up when we talk about these topics for you? What is coming up as in discussion internally for you when we think about these topics? Self confidence, self assuredness, self criticism, self acceptance, or how others accept us or give us space. What is showing up in these areas in your life? What are your thoughts?
Whenever the word self self comes, it brings, it's your responsibility. It's my
Hmm.
responsibility.
Hmm.
If I am assured from myself, then I don't need an assurance from outside. If I am confident in myself, then I don't need a confidence from the outside world.
Hmm.
So this is something.
Hmm. However, in real circumstances, sometimes there are times in which I don't find myself as powerful, say in public speaking. I find myself judged, and other people seem to be assessing me, and that makes me self conscious, right? I find myself concerned with what opinion are other people forming on me? What impact am I having on those people? Is it good impact? Is it bad impact? Am I doing the right thing or not? That assessment continues for me. Is this present for you? Any of you? To what degrees are you experiencing it? And what is your first-hand experience in this space when one is
I could
thinking?
not
Yeah.
hear
So the
the
point
last.
is that this self-consciousness, you know, we are addressing that, the tendency to get self-conscious, or the judgment about oneself, that am I doing the right thing or not? Am I being
Mm.
what are other people thinking of me right now? What is my opinion of myself? How does this context show up, I mean, in our lives? Like, for example, one of the ways in which it used to be in which used to show up in my life was about public speaking. That's why I talk about it quite often. I used to be immensely self-conscious. It was not an easy thing for me to talk in public, particularly, to do a good job in presentation in a speech was next to impossible. I had huge expectations from myself that when I'm speaking, it should come out superlative. But when I would speak, I would have an immense pressure on myself that the quality is not going to be good. People may laugh at me. It may not be, you know, as impactful or powerful in making a difference to others or in reaching them. I may not look at all good while with the work that I'm doing in public speaking. That used to be my really huge concern as a young person when I was doing presentations, particularly during my MBA and even in early part of my career. This used to be a very daunting task. And even now, even though decades and decades have gone, but yet when I'm talking in front of a crowd or in front of people, when I'm showing up, I'm quite aware about what opinion other people have of me, and not that in a not in a fashion in which it is um, it's creating freedom. Sometimes it is inhibiting me. There are certain things that I, even though I want to do, I am stopped from doing just because I'm conscious, I'm self-conscious in a crowd. How does this show up in your lives so that we make it more real, or and we are more present to the impact of it, so that we can make this conversation more real and life, and from the life rather than theoretical?
It does happen, or it does affect also.
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm. In what all
Uh,
fashions, Gaurav? In what fashions is it present for you?
it's present for me in the way where I'm going now.
Hmm.
It's not been really accepted as a profession per se,
Hmm.
compared to the traditional professions.
Hmm.
At least in my environment where who I live,
Hmm.
this is something not where you earn handsome amount of money. Eh, You continue with what you do. These kind of professions are more earning and all. So
Hmm.
it's present for me in that way.
Hmm.
It also sometimes does uh, affect the confidence part.
Hmm. The
Although you
feeling of
work on that,
confidence, the feeling of self-confidence. Yeah, go on, please. Go on, go on.
although I'm being done introspection and transformation processes, being sure कि नहीं, this is what I really love and something comes from inside. Even though like we discussed in the last session कि भले आधी रोटी खाएंगे, but this will give an inside satisfaction. You are
Hmm.
enjoying what you love, those
Hmm.
kind of. Still it does affect sometimes because of the expectations of the people around you, of your
Hmm.
wife. You want to give her a good life. Sometimes the desires and expectations brings that, like, if I be into this profession, whether I'll be able to give her that much or not. But then also thought come that, does the love is more important, or those material things are more important?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
even then I thought the case, then why don't have a conversation? We even had a conversation. Then I felt that conversation changed in a way. Like, yeah, love is more important than both of them. That is the
Hmm.
more important priority.
Hmm.
So then it gives confidence again.
Hmm.
He and also while these things do create a doubt, for me conversation worked a lot. Having a
Hmm.
conversation, having an 100% authentic conversation,
I hear you.
then again building up that confidence in it. So it takes down. Then you find out the reasons how you can work. Then having those conversations again up.
I got you. I
It
got
keeps
you.
on happening. Keeps on happening.
I understand. Vinayji, so you're muted right now. Yes.
Yeah, uh, no comment from my side. I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what is present for you that Vinayji is not the usual Vinayji in which there is a lot of sharing from his side. Am I right, Gauravji? Gaurav, today, do you feel so as well?
Yeah, I'm thinking not is it not something then from the last session, because it was
Yeah,
perfectly what you felt is right.
yes.
And
Vinayji, what's present for you that we can address, which is not the usual Vinayji which is showing up today in the meeting.
No, this was something Gaurav was talking or trying to
Ah,
get some wisdom from you. So I must allow that to happen, isn't
absolutely.
it?
No,
Rather
100%.
than interjecting in between, it's not correct, no?
No, no, I totally respect that. I totally respect, but we now are very keen to have your thoughts also. So what we are discussing, Vinayji, is that it is very human and and regular and ordinary, even for people, uh, all kinds of people who outwardly appear very confident, to be very self-conscious, and that self-consciousness may serve us in certain ways, and many ways it is useful also. I'm not saying all of it is bad, but in certain ways it prevents us from being powerful and fully self expressed. You know, it we feel inhibited, and sometimes when it goes too high, particularly younger people, it particularly in teenagers and younger people, and then it and quite often in quite grown up people also, that the life remains very small because they do not want to be seen doing anything bold and powerful, which would really be out of tune with the world, right? Sometimes it prevents them from being, and people do extraordinary things which are, to comply with what will look good in the society, right? Like, for example, people will do the jobs, do the such kind of work that Gaurav brought up, which does not bring satisfaction to them. And or sometimes people marry within a certain caste, or they buy too very far too big things because of show off and other things, because it will look nice, because it is they are very self conscious. So I was just wondering, what is your thoughts on this topic, so that we make it real in the world, and we make it more mm, life oriented rather than theoretical as we take up this discussion. What do you think?
See, in my opinion, you see, this dilemma probably everybody will need to face,
Hmm.
or rather faces in his career.
Mm-hmm.
So, when somebody starts a job, he or she attaches to certain kind of, say, job orientation or type of job, which would be initially related to what education one has had.
Mm-hmm.
As one goes by, certain things starts developing, and then one feels that I'm not able to realize my potential fully.
Hmm.
Now
Hmm.
that the reasons could be internal or external, that let's not argue about it. But when somebody feels that he or she is not able to realize the potentials, then at least there is an inner urge to do better than what one is doing.
Hmm. Yeah, I get you. I get you. That's
And
definitely there.
then you see, in that particular say circle of job,
Hmm.
one is not able to get those kind of opportunities, and then one thinks of other options.
Yeah, that is definitely there.
Good enough, good enough. So far, so good.
Hmm.
But thing is, when you are trying to change your influence, circle of influence,
Hmm.
it's not enlarging the circle of influence. It is totally change of circle of influence.
Hmm.
We just feel that just a little bit of preparations would be good.
Hmm.
So we want to change.
Hmm.
We want to be at that top of the circle,
Hmm.
but it's a process. It's a
So,
journey,
so the
and those two journeys will now have to be taken up together.
hmm, the career as well as of being out of the circle.
You know, yes, I have to change the career.
Yeah.
Say, let's say, from let's say I'm an engineer and I want to go to process improvement or quality circles.
Hmm. Our
Fine, good
quest
thought.
our question is slightly off this area, that I am apart from the limitation which are there from the point of view of quality, etc., that I should, or competence, etc., I am also inhibited by how it will look. I'm very self-conscious of it also, that I am, what will people think, you know, and that sometimes steals our power. What will people think? What will happen? And how do people judge me? I do not feel freedom because I am not creating my careers and my life in a fashion which is true to me. I feel there is an extraordinary influence of society on me, which it prevents me from me being myself. And some of it is positive, some of it is desirable. It helps me comply and fall within the legal limits, etc. But when it is if substantial amount of this inhibition is present, then I don't even experience self expression. I don't feel like singing. I don't feel like dancing. If I am good, if my heart wants me to dance in terms of Bharatnatyam or some dance, I don't show up on stage. I don't like public speaking, right? I'm talking about self consciousness, and that's what we want to make real, in this conversation, and that's what we want to address in this conversation. What is the root of it, and how do we deal with it powerfully? That's what we will talk about today. Yes, sir.
See, what will others feel?
Hmm. Hmm.
Most of the time, we are not worried about others.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Others means we'll be more worried about what my family will feel.
Hmm.
Even distant relatives, we may not be worried.
Hmm. Hmm.
What others means, beyond the family,
Hmm.
we may give little respect to their thoughts.
Hmm. Hmm.
But
You're right.
the main resistance comes in my feeling.
Hmm.
I have no statistics to prove it.
Hmm.
The main resistance comes within the family. Now, family doesn't mean spouse or parents or grandparents or brothers or sisters.
Hmm.
Even your good friends
Yeah.
with whom you are very close, they
Right.
can be part of your family because you are sharing
Absolutely.
many things.
And our
So
concern in that matter, what will they think, is a complicated answer.
only the small coterie of people. That's
Yeah,
all.
the ones who form our circle of influence, as you say, I mean, that the ones who are within our connection circle, we are concerned about what is going on for them as far as my choices are concerned. My choices, what are they saying about those?
So we will ask. Let's say I feel that I should take opinion of 4 people.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
within that small group. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All the 4 are not likely to have the same opinion, and that causes the confusion.
Yeah, yeah. And also, even if they are not expressing their opinion, sometimes it's about what are they talking among themselves about my choices, about not just my choices, the choices of my people. Like my daughter or my son is picking a choice. What are they saying about the choices that we are making? Sometimes that. So let's move forward, and let's continue to engage with this conversation. Let's see what shows up, sir. Is that okay?
See, career change, or I can say career
Hmm.
change or profession change. If somebody wants to do, let him or her do it. Only thing one should bear in mind what impact it is going to create on spouse
Hmm.
and kids. Period.
Yeah, yeah, that
Period.
makes sense. But what is going on as far as kids are concerned when they are thinking about their careers? Now, when they are thinking about their choices, I'm not talking about careers alone. I'm thinking about what they should buy, what they should wear, where where they should work, what they should do and not do. you know I mean, under those, a lot of those things are coming from an opinion of self consciousness, right? Particularly for young people, that what will people say? We are just bringing ourselves to be present to the fact that that makes a difference to us. You see, from the point of view of young people, what people think shows up in a fashion in which they are concerned about how they look, because that's teenagers or younger people's first concern. As they grow up, that may transition into another kind of concern, that am I capable enough? And as they grow further, it might transition into another kind of concern, that am I wise or respected enough? Finally, it can also turn into another kind of respect, a kind of concern, that do people think that I am contributing enough, I'm making a difference enough, I'm spiritual enough? But still, some of it one relies on other people to assess. So there's a little assessment which is constantly going on of how how am I appearing to others? What do people think about me? And we are going to address that side today. Is that okay, sir? Yes,
Yes, sir.
that's relevant. Gaurav? Yeah.
Yeah, very relevant. Very relevant.
All right. So let's address this from the first question. Let's consider this question that does a baby distinguish her being herself, the baby being herself, from how the baby appears to be to others? Is there a distinction for the little baby, let us say a little, really a little infant, in which the baby is present to the fact that how am I appearing versus how am I being? You know, these two things, for a baby, these two things are not very different, are they? Yes, sir.
No.
No, right? For the baby, exactly who I am being is the same, or and it doesn't even matter how other people perceive me to be, right? But this is not going on exactly in the same fashion for grown-ups. We have distinguished the two, who I am being, how I am being, and how I'm perceived to be. These two have disassociated themselves, right? Yes. But how did it happen? How did it emerge? You know, when I as a baby was completely in alignment, these two things were completely merged and same, that who I am being is how I'm appearing to be. And I'm comfortable being both. This is how it was. When there was a question of comfort itself was not there. The baby was comfortable to the extent in which self-consciousness did not even exist. There was no self-consciousness, a separate self-consciousness. What was going on for the baby? What do you think was the reality for the baby, that a baby is not self-conscious at all?
He does not have a fear
Hmm.
next moment.
Hmm. And what is the reason that there is no fear? I mean, the baby is the perception is so simply powerful that there is no self-conscious. There is no concern for how I'm looking. Consider, let me share from this. Consider that baby does not experience itself separate from the universe. Let me just elaborate on that. Let me clarify and see if it resonates. If it doesn't, we'll talk deeper more about it. You see, just like the leaf on a tree does not know its name is leaf, it thinks it is the tree. Metaphorically speaking, the leaf thinks I am the tree only. When it talks of itself, it calls itself tree. Who are you, tree? It doesn't know its name is leaf. Similarly, the little baby does not know that the baby's name is Gaurav, Vinay, or Amit. The baby thinks it is the tree, the universe. I am the universe. There is no separate identity. Does that resonate with you? Can you see? See, the existence of me separate from the universe is not there. I call myself, so when I'm connected with my mother, I am not connected with my mother. I mean, in presence of my mother is, I have got my full rights to hold on to her here because I don't experience them as a separate person's here. I don't even know my name is Amit. I don't even know my name is Gaurav. I am, and this universe is. So my localized identity has not become my predominant concern. I am not yet concerned for this guy. I am concerned for everything in together. When I feel a physical presence of hunger, I make loud noises. But that is not coming with suffering that I'm really immensely thinking that I should not be hungry. This person should not be hungry. It's just presence of hunger. So I make noise. It's that complete self-expression. There is no separateness from the tree. The leaf itself calls itself the tree. The leaf has no name for itself. The baby has no name for itself. It doesn't even know its own separate existence from the mother, from the father, from the universe. It doesn't know itself as Amit or Gaurav or Vinay, right? This individuation as a separation of identity, the ego has not separated. What Carl Jung calls individuation, or creation of a separate identity has not yet happened. The baby is perfectly happy being the universe. The universe gives it perfect acceptance. It doesn't need to look any particular fashion to be accepted. Does that resonate? The baby doesn't need to look separately because she is the universe. There is no separate universe, right? And then someday the universe tells him, your name is the leaf. And how does that begin to happen? It begins to happen as if one day the baby is holding a bottle of milk and spilling all over just because the baby is a baby. And then the mother says, why are you spilling milk? Shakes the baby, don't spill milk, snatches the milk away. And then the baby doesn't understand what's gone wrong. But then the next day, the baby is throwing more food on the floor, and the mother says, don't do this. You are doing this, don't do this. And then the next day, baby grows up a little bit. She's making vertical lines, but some of them are not particularly vertical. And then the mother scolds, why are your lines not vertical? The teacher scolds, the father scolds, the elders scold. And then one day when the baby is running in while playing, the friends say, you're not running fast enough. Why can't you run faster? The other guy runs better than you. You don't run fast. So the baby begins to be concerned about this guy. What am I doing wrong? The concern, your poem is not, you're not singing the poem properly. Your clothes are not right. Your hair is not fine. Please comb them properly. So the conversation with the baby begins in a fashion in which there is a lot going on with the baby in the initial age, in which there is a lot of correction, improvement, do a lot of rightness. And that's how for the first time the baby comes to know, I am a separate identity. I should be concerned how this guy is making milk, throwing milk in the floor. I should be concerned with how this guy is actually writing on the copy. It is the straight lines are not vertical, or they are not. So I should do a good job dressing myself up. I should do a good job singing the poems and song properly. I should wear the uniform better. I should run better. The concern for the first time creates that your name is XYZ, and your concern is that you are not doing the right thing. Be conscious of it. Be right, and do the right thing. And out of their love and concern, the parents bring this concern into the child, that you be concerned about this guy. Yes. So the only way that the individuation shows up, the only way in which the separation of ego shows up, is when the baby receives a lot of initial correctiveness, a lot of initial discussion in which you do the right thing. There's a lot of criticism happening, a lot of judgment, a lot of pointing of flaws, correcting of mistakes, improvements, criticism. Mostly it is unintentional, because the parents are really, who would love their children more than the parents? So parents really do love, but yet this is still going on. We can't deny that this is going on. The teachers, the friends finding fault, and then ultimately commercials and advertisements. Why is your shirt not white? Why is this guy's shirt more white than you? Why is your car smaller than that guy's? Why is your phone less smarter than the other guy's? Why? And then you start looking, what else is it that I should compare? That puts the child in a world of assessments, a world of comparison and measurement. That what is good? How tall am I? How fat am I? How straight are my lines? What is the good? What is the score that am I getting in school? How fast am I running? Is my poem good enough? And even when there is no school context, even then when there are games happening, am I winning or losing? Right? Am I having sufficient or not? Is my sister having more? If the food on my plate, am I getting the right quantity? Am I missing some of the sweets? The baby finds itself in the world of assessments, measurements, comparisons, monitoring. Let's call it the world of the discussion of assessments. And that world of assessments has become permanent for the baby. that there is a concern that the baby is born into, that there is something that you have done. Your lines are not straight, your uniform is not straight, your poem is not going very well, your numbers, your studies are not going very well, you're not running very well. There is some acknowledgement that you also did this very well. Your marks were very nice. But for every acknowledgement that a child gets, there is a ton of criticism. That's how the first time the child comes to know, my name is Rajesh, my name is XYZ, my name is Amit, my name is Vinay, or my name is Gaurav. That's how for the first time the identity gets created. Now, this identity, if it gets created like this, that okay, something, what are you, look, how your uniform is not okay, right? Now look what is not okay. So this kind of separation of identity, this is how all human beings are created. And this is not my theory. I am bringing what a lot of psychologists have spoken about as an idea of creation of identity, of creation of individual separate identity. It happens through assessments. It's creation of concern for that yourself. It emerges that you be concerned for who is present inside the body. You be concerned for this body. You be concerned with this guy. Leaf now begins to be concerned about myself rather than the entire tree. It is no longer concerned about the entire universe. It is more concerned about this. So it has become individual. It has become separated. It's separation of identity. And now, because the mother who was unconditionally loving, there was in the baby's first-hand experience, the mother never had conditions for love. Her hair were baby's hair, so the baby could pull anytime. Mother's cheek were my own, so she could touch and pull the mother to herself. But now mother's love was conditional. I must not spill milk, I must do a good job in school. So now the baby's struggles begin to win back that love, which was her birthright. The baby's birthright was to be unconditionally accepted. Now the baby has to win back that unconditional acceptance. And that is the essence of all spirituality. We are all finally trying to discover that love which is available to us from universe. Because in the first-hand experience, the ton of criticism that the baby received, it created a concern. Now, if there is so much criticism that has gone on, then what kind of concerns does it create? For a baby, for an individuation, for a separate individual identity, this much of criticism that the baby had, what kind of concerns does it create? What is the definition of concern? Concern is that when I enter into a room which has loud noises, I'm concerned about my loud noises coming to my ear. If I enter into a room full of people, I'm immediately concerned about what people are saying or talking to each other, or what are they thinking about me. Similarly, when baby has suddenly become aware about its separate identity, what are the baby's concerns when it has become individually separated from the universe?
The concern becomes he wants no respect
Hmm.
or from the parents.
Hmm.
I need to look good in front of them.
Hmm.
I think this becomes their concern.
Absolutely. Go on and see if you can make it more, give it more words. Vinayji, what do you think?
Yes, the baby would like to behave the way others want her to behave.
Because now this is such a powerful statement. And now notice what is driving that. I need to behave like that,
Not of others.
so that other people like it. Because what is the reason for that?
So that I will get their
You
appreciation.
want to gain
That I will
acceptance
get
of
their
others.
appreciation. So that I will get their appreciation. So that they will once again love me. Vinayji, you said something I couldn't hear. Sorry.
I just said because she gets accepted.
So that she gets accepted.
But appreciated is a better word.
And also accepted. It's such a powerful word that s- I need to do something to be accepted. Notice that acceptance is no longer automatic. I am not automatically accepted. So the baby now has a few, the context in which the world is and I am, it is defined by some truths for the baby. The baby has established from the first hand experience some truths, and in reaction to those truths, this kind of concerns are born. What are those truths? Because all the time they are pointing at me, your trousers are not okay, your shoes are not fine, your laces are not fine, you're running not fine. I keep looking at what is wrong here. I keep looking, what's wrong, what is wrong, what is wrong. Can I keep improving it? Can I keep correcting it? Can I, what is not okay, what is not okay? Because something is not okay with me. Something's not okay right now. I don't even know what is not okay right now. Like for example, my show me your homework, immediate fear. Something is not right in the homework. Show me your mark sheet. Something is not okay in that area. Right? Can you see that? That immediately the concern is born out of the truth that something is not enough, something is not okay with me. Ashwin, you're welcome.
Hi.
Yeah. So what we are discussing, Ashwin. I'll just quickly create the context for you. That that when we were born as a child, we were born as in perfect acceptance by universe. Our mother perfectly accepted us. But then started the small corrections and criticisms from everyone. Mother said, why are you spilling milk? Why are your homework not okay? And that created a concern, a set of concerns. With that, my identity got created. And those concerns that we were discussing, what are the concerns of the baby when the baby for the first time comes to know my name is Amit? Till that time, I am the universe. But the first time I come to know my name is Ashwin, it shows up as Ashwin, why are you throwing milk? Why are you spilling milk? That is what we were talking about. So you've joined a little late, but see if you can tune into the conversation and see what that creates. Is that okay? So the first truth, because of so much criticism, first preoccupation of the child is created in the context, in the backdrop that the universe is separate from me. I am in here and the world is out there. And because there are so many corrections that people made in me, I have created a context that I am not okay. Something's not okay here. Something is not enough here. Something is not right here. So that truth that I am not okay, it comes up very powerfully. That it is not even a doubt. Now, what is not okay is to be measured. So the context of the child is, where is something wrong? It is with my looks, with my work, where I stay, what I own, with my body, with my job, in how I do things, in way I speak, in the place I come from, my village. It's such a small, my background itself. Even my parents are imperfect because the other guy's parents are better looking and they are richer. Can you remember, even as a child, we used to compare our parents, that their parents are such and such, our parents are different. So whatever we have, whatever I touch, it is not enough. It's something inferior. In fact, when I have just cleaned the car, I am only looking for where is the car dirty. I'm looking for that small part. Where is the dirt still there? If I have got the mark sheet of 9 subjects, I get great marks. In one of them, I have got slightly less marks. My attention goes in that direction. See, that's where I need to improve. So I have to always be more, better, different. This is not okay. I am not all right. I must. Now, this is the truth in which the identity was created. Because it was proven beyond doubt that I'm not okay. Therefore, I have to cover it up. I have to prevent other people from noticing that something is not enough. Don't let them find out. Convince them, look good, but always keep assessing and comparing. Keep comparing and assessing. Am I okay? Keep comparing with others. Keep checking. So the child finds itself in the world of assessments, the realm of permanent assessments. Is my shoe nice? Is my job nice? Is my spirituality nice? Is my meditation as good as the other guy? So the first truth is I'm not okay. Something is not enough. Something is wrong here. Can you see the presence of this in your life? Can you see that we are living in a world of assessments, in a world of comparisons, and we are constantly judging ourselves, and we feel that others are also judging us. There is always a self-consciousness, a need to look good, avoid looking bad, avoid risks of speaking up and appearing as bold and distinct. Sometimes people want to stand out to comply, as a rebellion, but at the same time there you can see that it's all an effort to look good. Can you see that's going on, Gaurav? Is it present? Yes. Yeah.
Present.
Then I'll also invite you to take mental notes. See if you can take notes in your notebook also. How is it present in your life? Make it more real for you. How is it present in your life? Make it more real for you. Make it more true for you. How is it that you're concerned about yourself? That brings us to the second truth that the baby is predominantly concerned about. And that second truth is it's my fault. Like, who spilled this milk? Why are you spilling milk? When the first time the baby was little and it was holding a small nipple wala bottle and the baby was spilling milk, it had no information that this is a wrong deed. Wrong did not exist. It was just happily living. Now they said, you're doing something wrong. The first time that this scolding happens, it is a shock. But a few times later, you start saying, I am not doing anything wrong. It's not my fault. I was just being happy. I was just living happily. But the mother, the father, the teacher, the friends, the television, it keeps saying, you're doing something wrong. You did it wrong. Your fault. Your fault. You spilled milk. Look, look, you spilled milk. Look, what did you do wrong? Look, your paper is not okay. So the baby starts looking at herself, and it comes from a context that whose fault is it? It is not my fault. And that creates a context of blame and fault. The responsibility shows up as a burden in this context. I must not be at fault. I must not get caught as responsible. So I should avoid responsibility as far as possible. There is a dire need to be right. Being right becomes the most precious commodity. Can you see how important it is in your life, in your arguments in life, to be right? You're willing to have a lot of arguments. People around you are willing to have a lot of arguments to prove themselves right. It's not my fault. It's not, I am right. I'm right. I can't be wrong. So that also is an opportunity for me to invalidate others, fix others. They don't get completely. I must improve them. I must deflect blame one way or the other. I have to do something to be better, more different, and it helps me. I can become a perfectionist. I become a better professional. I become better at studies, but I'm never enough. And it is I'm never free from this looking that, is it my fault? Where is my fault? Where is it not my fault? And I learn to avoid responsibility. As far as possible, never let the burden come to you. Never let the blame come to you. So the responsibility itself begins to create appear heavy. Can you see this is true for you in your life? The need to be right, the need to be more, better, different, and that never gets enough. Yes, Gaurav, go ahead, please. Yes.
uh, uh, what coming into my mind is, right now we are discussing with, we create these self-doubt because of the people around us or family say those things, and we keep on correcting ourselves. And I think I'm missing something, but still I'm saying. So this is one part, and the second part we talked about taking that responsibility of everything in our life. If they are not understanding, they are not, then we take that responsibility to make them. So I'm not able to
Yeah,
connect both of these
connect both these
completely.
topics. So we are saying responsibility comes in the same paragraph as blame because of this. If who is responsible is the one to blame, we have connected these two topics because of our finding ourselves in the context that whose fault is it, whose blame is it, whose fault, whose blame, whose fault, whose blame. We are in this world, therefore we have connected avoid fault, avoid blame, avoid responsibility. Actually, the responsibility does not belong in the same topic. It does not belong in the same chapter. It is a separate chapter. Responsibility is just willingness to be the creator of your life. I am making it happen. That's not in the same chapter. But we have connected these two. So we must avoid responsibility. I don't even want to do anything. Whatever is happening is their fault. Somebody else's fault. Not my fault. Not my fault. Not my fault. That as a baby, my concern became it may be my fault. It is my fault. Why is it my fault? Because every time they tell me that I drew lines, I didn't even know that it was a fault to draw a bad line. I didn't even know that. But they are always saying, no, you drew it. You drew the bad line. You drew the bad line. Now I have learned to always chant the mantra, it's not my fault. Not my fault. No, never, not me to blame. But there nobody is listening. They say it is your fault only. So gradually what happens is I begin to come to stand in the truth that it must be my fault. So I have to avoid this blame one way or the other. And this other chapter of responsibility gets attached to this chapter. Responsibility is not in this area. I become the kind of human being who avoids responsibility. So the second concern was about being right. The first concern was about looking how he looks, about I'm not enough. I may not be okay. And now for the third concern. The third concern of the child is that I'm not loved. I'm not accepted. I don't belong here. That it's an adolescent's concern. So I have to constantly try to belong. I have to constantly try to win over other people. I have to constantly try to get affection. I have to be the kind of human being which gets affection. That's the third concern. And the fourth concern is because of all this, I have to deal with life alone. Nobody else is going to come and help me. I have to deal with it alone. There's no one else who will ever come and help me. So the baby, which was the universe, was separated into a separate individual identity. And it is born into these four concerns that I am not enough. I am to blame. I am the one at fault. I am not loved. I am not accepted. And I am alone. So these are the four concerns that form the predominant contexts of life. Gaurav, I was just saying the four concerns are, the first concern is, I'm not okay. There is something not okay. Something is not enough. Something's not right about me. Something's wrong here. First concern. The second concern is, I might be to blame. It's my fault. It might be my fault. So I have to show that it's not my fault. Cover it up. Make up for it. Number three concern is, I don't belong here. They don't love me. They don't accept me. They don't appreciate me. It's not that I am fine and enough and appreciated, acknowledged. I belong in this group. in whatever group I am. I'm not belonging there. And the fourth thing is, I have to deal with life alone. Nobody can help me. Even my mother judged me. Even my father judged me when I was not drawing straight lines, when I was not wearing my trousers and running around. So these four concerns create this separate identity, and they define how life shows up. Now, my work, my struggle in this life becomes to constantly try to overcome this, to cover it up.